It makes you feel quite modest when you consider that Marcus Aurelius, the ruler of the strongest empire on the planet, had just 24 hours in a day like us. So, what was his secret to accomplishing everything? How was he able to balance life as an emperor, a thinker, an author, and a spouse? How did he find the time to implement laws and sit in judgment? How did he lead his soldiers and navigate Rome through a horrific disease? And how did he maintain his goodness and resist the corruption that could come with such temptation or the pressures of his role? Routine played a role in this. Marcus Aurelius believed in the power of consistent action. This was typical for Stoics. They agreed with Aristotle that our identity is shaped by our repeated actions and that to achieve greatness, one must make it a routine. Marcus Aurelius began his days with the sunrise. He penned the thought, "Upon waking, remember that you rise to perform the duties of a human." There was no luxury for him to linger in bed, cozy and warm. It's believed that it was in these early hours that Marcus engaged in his reflective writing. He would allow himself a few minutes with the blank page, writing his reflections, organizing his mind, and reminding himself of his core values. After his morning reflection, he braced for the day ahead. "Today," he remarked, "you'll encounter thankless, cruel, narrow-minded, and irritating individuals." Yet, Marcus was aware that he couldn't let such characters drag him into their unpleasantness. He was determined to adhere to his principles. Chances are, Marcus Aurelius started with what was most important. He wasn't one to procrastinate, choosing instead to commence his efforts while his energy was at its peak. "Focus on the task at hand," he would say with Roman determination. "Tackle it as if it's the final and most vital task of your life." He had picked up the skill of enduring long work periods and keeping at it from his stepfather Antoninus. In Meditations, Marcus expressed his respect for the way Antoninus organized even his breaks for the restroom to maximize his work without breaks. Marcus wasn't one to avoid hard work, carried out his responsibilities without complaint. He advised, "Never let complaints be heard, not even when you're alone." Yet, how did Marcus Aurelius handle stress? He ensured that he had time for activities like hunting or riding horses. The abundance of wrestling and boxing references in Meditations suggests he actively engaged and trained in these sports in true Roman fashion. Additionally, he was known to often visit the baths, like those in Budapest, that remain to this day. Today, you can still soak in the same warm and cool thermal baths that Marcus likely used to cleanse himself from what he called the dust of earthly life. It makes sense that this practice was a key element of his routine. It provided cleanliness, quiet reflection, a pause from responsibilities, physical revitalization through hot and cold, and possibly a massage. Marcus Aurelius mentions the importance of finding and experiencing serenity nearly a dozen times throughout Meditations. For him, these quiet interludes were vital. Silence is necessary because without it, thinking becomes difficult, minds can't be cleared, the broader perspective is lost, and philosophical reflection is unattainable. As for his eating habits, it appears that Marcus was the type of person who ate simply to sustain himself, not for pleasure. He favored quick and healthy meals. He didn't indulge in luxurious dishes, and fancy wines or skilled chefs didn't interest him. He saw food as just nourishment. He ate what he needed and proceeded with his day. When did he read? It's uncertain exactly when Marcus Aurelius dedicated time to his readings, but it's evident that books played a significant role in his life, as they would for any intellectual individual. Marcus understood that reading was essential for effective leadership and was continually seeking knowledge to improve himself. He favored the enduring insights of books over the fleeting nature of current events and rumors, always seeking to understand the lessons of history. As evening approached, it was time for Marcus Aurelius to be with his family. He deeply loved his wife and children, and regardless of his responsibilities, he always found time for them. He took pleasure in the nightly routine of putting his children to bed. And as he did, he would practice his philosophy, silently reminding himself with each goodnight kiss, "Savor this. It might not happen again. Survival through the night isn't certain." Thus, Marcus savored these intimate moments, fully present, loving, and treasuring the person before him, which was, in truth, the pinnacle of his daily life. Then he would say goodnight. Shortly after his children were asleep, Marcus Aurelius would also go to bed, set to repeat this cycle for as long as life lasted. Our actions, repeated over time, shape who we are. Therefore, let's embrace the way Marcus lived, committing to good practices and living life fully, on this day and all days to follow. The philosopher Epictetus declared, "Determine who you wish to become and dedicate yourself to being excellent at it." Habits form a crucial part of this journey. Consider what methods, guiding principles, and daily activities you engage in. These are the steps that lead to becoming who you desire to be, whether that's authoring a popular book, growing a business, creating a recognizable brand, or becoming an expert in any field. Appreciate you watching time-tested advice. Interested in Stoicism? Take a peek at our other videos right here. Hit subscribe, we'd be thankful. Keep on learning and studying, and don't forget the 4 Stoic virtues: bravery, fairness, self-control, and wisdom.